Before we get into today's show, let me tell you about the latest deal from Mike Lindell, MyPillow. Once again, the big box stores have canceled their orders simply because they don't agree with Mike Lindell's politics. They don't like it because he supports President Trump. Well, he's going to pass that savings on to you. No more middleman. And boy, does he have some great deals on the Giza Dream sheets and the Percal bed sheets. Listen to this. Giza Dream queen size, normally $139.98. Your wholesale price, $69.99 when you use promo code Joey. King size, only $79.99. The Percal queen size, normally $89.98. Your wholesale price, $29.98 when you use promo code Joey. Just call 1-800-893-4059 or go to MyPillow.com. Always use promo code Joey. Free shipping options available. This allotment's not going to last very long. When they're gone, they're gone. MyPillow.com, promo code Joey. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss and Nutrition Studios. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. Welcome in and a happy Monday to you. We got a lot to cover. CNN data guru Harry Enten has pronounced President Trump as the most influential president this century. Why? We have the full story in today's show. Texas Democrats have fled to Chicago to avoid voting on a Trump-backed redistricting plan that could give the GOP an additional 5 House seats. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton says their antics will not be tolerated. Governor Henry McMaster signed into law the Hands-Free Act, which makes it illegal to hold your phone for texting and or phone calls while driving in South Carolina. I have the details you need to know about this new law and when it takes effect. And U.S. Senator Tim Scott has a new book coming out this week, One Nation, Always Under God, Profiles in Christian Courage. The senator joins us at the end of the show to talk about the achievements of President Trump in his first 6 months and his new book that highlights the achievements of Christians in our country.
I told you we'd be back.
And ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free.
It's Joey Hudson.
I wanted to name it the Joey Hudson bill, but, they don't allow you to put names on bills. But I wanted to call it the Joey Hudson bill because I know that one's been near and dear to you for a number of years.
That's how it's done. Let your voice be heard.
And the truth shall set you free.
Here's Joey Hudson.
Trump derangement syndrome is alive and well in St. Louis. Have you heard this story? We've seen it happen before, many times actually, but it's still amazing to me that this actually happens. What am I talking about? This is something that should outrage every freedom-loving American, every American who supports President Donald Trump or doesn't support him for that matter. No matter where you stand politically, you should be concerned about this. Imagine going to a major league soccer game, St. Louis City SC, home stadium, Energizer Park. You're pumped. You got your ticket, maybe grabbed a hot dog, got your drink in hand, and you're sporting your favorite red cap, a MAGA cap. You know the one, Make America Great Again. Maybe it's the original, maybe it's newer, but it's a hat that says you support President Donald J. Trump. And for that, just wearing that hat, you get kicked out of the stadium. After you've already bought your tickets. No telling what you paid for them. No telling what you paid for that Coke and that hot dog. You get kicked out because you have a MAGA cap on. Well, that just happened. Michael Weitzel seems to be a regular guy, soccer fan, President Trump supporter. He's at the stadium just minding his own business, and he's told to leave the game. Why? Because his hat supported the leading Republican presidential candidate, the 45th and the 46th president of the United States last year when he was reelected to a second term. Now, look, I've seen a lot of nonsense, but this is just crazy that this is still happening. Here's the story from Michael Weitzel himself.
I'm Michael Weitzel. I'm being asked to leave by the police because of Donald Trump.
Hey, I'm a Donald Trumper. I'm a man. Yes, I am. So I just want all these topics you got to deal with them, MAGA, but they don't do not political here. They don't want any kind of political.
So those flags over there,
those are pre-approved.
Those flags over there, those aren't political. So my question to you guys is: are these rules equally enforced on everybody?
And here's my question to you.
And the only way I can do that is if I enforce it with you. You are handcuffed. So I'm being threatened with arrest. What law am I breaking? What am I? We ask you to leave. You're asking me to leave. Am I being evicted from the premises?
You're going to be evicted from the premises. You want to take a big...
Okay. We're going to walk up. I'm being evicted from the premises because of Donald Trump. because we can't wear Donald Trump hats in public. And so now I'm being evicted from the premises. We need a big procession to get me out of here. Trump is not welcome in St. Louis City SC Club. Trump is not welcome here. I'm giving MAGA guys. We're the ones. I'm trying. I know. We're the ones who go complain about everything you cry about. I know. But if we're gonna do this, we don't want. Oh, you just take the hat off and go back in. If I take the hat off, I can go back in. Yeah. Okay.
We're already past that.
We're past that.
You ready to get that chance to?
No, that's fine.
Just for this game.
Just for this game. Okay.
Because I'm usually my more pro.
He gets it. He's just following the rules. It's not his fault. But this is the stadium's rules here.
Good, man.
Thank you, sir. Hey. So that's what happens if you wear a Donald Trump hat to a St. Louis City Soccer Club game. Thanks for watching.
I was going to ask, can you believe it? But you probably can, can't you? Unfortunately, we're still seeing this type of thing happen. Security tells him that the venue is, quote, non-political. But wait, as he points out in the video there that has gone viral on X, by the way. You can see it on my X. Just go to X, search for Joey Hudson, and be sure and follow me while you're there. Weitzel points out that fans right across the section, and he shows them to you, are waving flags, clearly political flags. Guess what they said? Those were pre-approved, they said. Pre-approved. So now political speech is okay if it fits their narrative. You can bring in your rainbow flags because those are the flags he's pointing to. Evidently, there was some LGBTQ faction in the stadium that night because they were waving the rainbow flags. Your social justice banners are okay too. Your foreign flags, your flag supporting Palestine, they're probably welcome too. But you wear a hat that says "Make America Great Again," suddenly you're a threat. I mean, give me a break. Wow. Folks, this is what censorship looks like in the real world. Not in a textbook, not in a Hollywood movie, but right there at a soccer game in the Midwest. We've seen it with big tech. We've seen it with the media, mainstream media. Now we're seeing this bleed into the sports, and not just the NFL, not the NBA. Those leagues sold out a long time ago. We know we've been through that. But now soccer, too. The sport that's supposed to be building its future fan base here in America, and this is how they treat people? I mean, let's be real. Michael Weitzel wasn't there waving signs or shouting slogans like the people with the big flags were. He simply sat down in his seat that he paid for with a red cap on. He didn't come in with the bullhorn. He was watching the game, and he had this MAGA cap. That's it. So what happened? A security guard tells him, if you take the hat off, you can go back in. But that's not what happened. That's not security. That's ideological enforcement. Take off the hat, that says the wrong thing. How is that any different from what you'd see in a banana republic? And what I love about this, after he takes the hat off, someone off camera, you can hear them saying, well, we're past that point now. Oh, really? So even after compliance, even after he says, okay, I'll take the hat off, he has to still leave. So what's the truth here? It wasn't about the hat anymore. It's about the punishment. They wanted to humiliate him. And he's right. Michael Weitzel nailed it in the video when he said, so this is what happens when you wear a Donald Trump hat at a St. Louis City SC game. And that's exactly what happened to him, isn't it? Now, of course, St. Louis City SC has said nothing. No public statement, no apology, no clarification of the rules. Nothing, just silence, hoping that it blows over, I'm sure. And that tells you everything that you need to know, because when the mob targets a Trump supporter, corporate America suddenly forgets how to use Twitter. They don't want any part of it anymore. But if it had been the other way around, if Weitzel had been wearing a Biden-Harris 2024 hat, and some random conservative had said something about him, oh, it wouldn't have been a national story. Right-wing extremists threatened Biden supporter at soccer game would have been the headlines. CNN would have been parked outside of Energizer Park for a week. But with this, crickets. They don't want any part of it. They're not going to say anything. Let me say loud and clear, It's not political extremism to wear a hat that supports Donald Trump, our president. It's not hate speech. It's not a threat to democracy. It's free speech. And if Americans can't wear the symbol of their political beliefs in public without being removed by force, then freedom of expression is gone. And let's not forget, Trump he wasn't some fringe candidate. He's not some wannabe. He won the presidency for a second time. Millions of Americans supported him. He earned more votes in 2024 than any Republican in history. So this isn't just about Michael Weitzel. It's about you. It's about us. It's about whether our voice, our beliefs are allowed in the public square. And evidently in St. Louis City, they're not.
Joey Hudson here. America is facing a health crisis, and the answer isn't more meds. I lost over 30 pounds on the PhD weight loss plan without Ozempic or any weight loss shots. Don't settle for a lifetime of medication. GLP-1 injections like Ozempic help some people lose weight, but they come with side effects, high cost, and most gain it back when they stop. At PhD Weight Loss, we reveal Big Pharma's big secret. Your body already makes GLP-1, the appetite-fighting hormone. Our program helps your body make it naturally so you'll drop the pounds faster. With the PhD method, no side effects, no long-term risk, no rebound weight gain, just natural, lasting results, all without hunger or cravings. Right now, get a free body scan and personalized metabolic assessment. Discover your body's true potential without a shot. It's free and gives you the keys to your personalized plan. Do like I did and don't trade your health for a quick fix. Call now at 864-644-1900. That's 864-644-1900 or visit myphdweightloss.com, myphdweightloss.com. As we head into the fall, I know, with these hot days, it's hard to think about the cool days of fall. Labor Day is just around the corner. Football will be starting. School's back in, and a new law takes effect September the 1st. Governor Henry McMaster and state leaders held a ceremonial signing of the hands-free law at the State House. Here's a report from WIS-TV in Columbia.
Goal to keep South Carolinians' hands on the wheel and eyes on the road will soon become a law in the Palmetto State. The South Carolina Hands-Free and Distracted Driving Act was signed earlier this year by the governor after it passed in the House and Senate. The new law will make it illegal for drivers in the state to hold or support a cell phone while driving. Examples include holding a phone to your ear, typing, scrolling, or even resting a phone on your lap. The bill passed after a final version was agreed on during the last week of the legislative session. Governor McMaster spoke about the soon-to-be new law during a signing ceremony today.
Makes it clear that when you drive in that vehicle, you got to have your hands on the wheel. You can't be distracted. It's just common sense, but sometimes it takes a law to remind everybody of that common sense.
The 180-day warning period for the new law begins on September 1st, in which no tickets will be issued. After that period ends, which is scheduled for February 28th, drivers will face penalties for violation.
So starting September the 1st, it will be illegal to scroll, text, or even hold your phone while driving in the Palmetto State. Here's what you need to know. For the first 6 months, drivers caught doing it will just get a warning. After that, the real penalties start kicking in. $100 for the first offense, $200 and points off of your license for the second offense, which that kind of starts getting into your wallet, right? It's going to hit your driving record. Maybe, just maybe, it'll save a few lives along the way. Now, let's not kid ourselves. This shouldn't be controversial. You're driving basically a 2-ton piece of steel, sometimes at 70 miles plus per hour. You don't need to be updating your Facebook status, right? You don't need to be checking a text. There's nothing on your screen more important than the life of the person in the car next to you. And better yet, the life of the person or persons in the car with you, yourself included. Now, some are saying, well, this is a crackdown on freedom. Well, I don't know. Just sounds like common sense to me. And sometimes, sadly, it takes a law to make people remember how to be responsible adults. At the bill ceremonial signing ceremony in Columbia, one woman stood up and spoke with a bit of clarity and heartbreak that cuts through all the noise. Her name is Kelly Willenberg. I've had Kelly on the show before. It's very personal to Kelly because she lost her husband, Dale, back in 2017. He was hit by a driver who looked down at his phone just for a second. A moment of distraction that ended a man's life and shattered a family forever. Dale was 57 years old, an avid cyclist, a father, and a grandfather. Kelly said it best: no message, no text, no ping or post is worth the price of a human life. And Kelly has worked tirelessly since her husband's death to get this law into effect. She has lobbied. She has sent emails. She has spoken to groups. She's been on this radio show. You know, it's incredible that some people just don't take this seriously. Think about it. Over 20,000 accidents a year in South Carolina are linked to distracted driving. 20,000. That's not just a number. That's people, families who are affected, like Kelly, children, empty seats at the dinner table. We have kind of normalized this, right? You look around at the red light, half the drivers are staring down at their screens, or you're sitting behind one and they're sitting there reading their text rather than moving on when the light turns. We have people filming TikToks in the fast lane, drivers watching Netflix and YouTube at stoplights. And we wonder why we have so many accidents, that our roads are dangerous. Governor McMaster signed the bill and said what we're all thinking here, that it's just common sense. He also pointed out that sometimes it takes a law, again, to bring us back to that common sense, and he's right. Because personal responsibility sometimes doesn't seem to be enough. Some, again, will complain that this is a government overreach. They'll say it's one more way that the state's trying to control our lives. Is it? I don't know. I mean, personally, I made it a point to stop texting while driving a couple of years ago. Because how many times have you been driving down the road and maybe you just glanced over at that phone because it gave you a little ding, made that alert noise, and you're thinking, all right, who just texted? And you look up and the car in front of you has stopped, or a car has changed lanes, and you think how close you came to being in an accident. Now, yes, I should be able to do that on my own. I should take that responsibility and just put my phone away while I'm driving. But it's kind of like we just can't resist the temptation. So I guess the state decided, well, we're going to help you resist that temptation. We're going to make it painful for you going forward. So the Department of Public Safety, they're going to give you a grace period for the first 6 months. You're just going to get a warning. After that, they're going to start fining you. The penalties are real. The second offense, if you're not just paying a fine, you're getting points off of your license. If you did it enough, you'd lose your license. This is going to affect your insurance. It's going to affect your wallet, because if you're putting lives at risk, I guess there needs to be consequences, right? And the Department of Public Safety says their message is they're not playing around. They said it very clearly. After this grace period ends, they're going to enforce the law strictly. And it's kind of about culture too, right? We need to change the way we think about driving. It's not downtime. It's not a moment to multitask. It's not a break in your day to catch up on text. It's a job. It's a responsibility. You need to pay attention to what you're doing. You're operating a piece of heavy machinery on a public road, and the people around you are trusting you to do it safely, to keep them safe, their family safe, and again, your own family safe. The bottom line here is the Willenberg family does not get Dale back. No warning, no ticket, no fine can undo what happened to that family. But maybe this new law will keep it from happening to you or me and other families. And that's the important thing here.
If you heard a big groan from the CNN headquarters over the weekend, here's why. Their data guru, Harry Enten, proclaimed that President Donald Trump is the most influential president this century, while he rattled off some of the major transformations that President Trump has ushered in, like tariffs, immigration, and other issues. Enten argued that the president has, in his words, been tremendously influential to a historic degree just over half a year into his second term. Here, let Harry Enten tell you himself.
The Donald Trump administration is arguably the most influential this century and probably as well dating back a good portion of the last century as well. Love it, like it, lump it. Trump is remaking in the United States of America. Let's talk about tariffs first, right? There's all this talk that Donald Trump always chickens out when it comes to tariffs. No tacos for Trump. The effective tariff rate, get this, it's 18%, the highest since the FDR administration in the 1930s, up from, get this, just 2% last year. From just 2% last year, we're talking about a level, an effective tariff rate level, get this, 9 times as high this year than last year. But it's not just on tariffs, which of course Donald Trump ran on, in which you're seeing a tremendously influential presidency. What about immigration? Of course, Trump ran and has always run on a very hawkish immigration platform. Get this, 2025 net migration in the United States down at least 60% from last year. In fact, we may be heading for the first time in at least 50 years in which we have net negative migration into the United States. And last year, of course, in 2024, the net migration in the U.S. was 2.8 million. This year, we might be talking about negative net migration. My goodness gracious. Now, of course, this is part of a larger story, as I was mentioning. We're talking about immigration, net migration. We're talking about the effective tariff rate. But get this, how is Donald Trump doing it? Well, he is signing a ton of executive orders. Get this, 180, the most in a year since Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Oh my goodness, you have to go back to the first half of the 20th century, the last century. And to make a comparison, Joe Biden signed, get this, just 77 during his entire first year. And we're only a little bit in August so far, and Donald Trump making history with 180 executive orders signed so far this year. So that's why I said that in my mind, Donald Trump is the most influential president of this century and probably dating back a good portion of the last century. That is because he is remaking the country in terms of tariffs. He is remaking the country in terms of net migration, and he is remaking the country in terms of how much policy changes he's putting through in executive orders. As I said, it truly is history making. Love it, like it, or lump it.
Love it, like it, lump it. In the words of CNN data guru Harry Enten. Did you ever think you'd hear that coming out of CNN? Enten may be fired. He may lose his job over that. He noted the highest average U.S. tariff rate in effect on another country has jumped from 2% last year to about 18%, which is the largest rate in America since the 1930s. On immigration, noted that the net migration into the U.S. appears to be trending down sharply by at least 60% from 2.8 million last year during Joe Biden and Kamala Harris's administration. Based on those two factors, Mr. Enten contended that Trump is the most influential president probably in the 20th century. Yeah, CNN, they're rolling over right now. They can't believe that one of their own guys is saying this. Another example Enten cited was Trump's use of executive orders. Again, having signed 180 of them in about 6 months. Wow. Trump is, of course, one of two presidents who served 2 non-consecutive terms as president alongside Grover Cleveland. And this is why the Democrats are standing on their heads around the country. They can't quite get their footing. Kamala Harris decided she's not going to run for governor. She doesn't know what to do. She's out trying to promote a book, and she's as goofy as ever. Did you see her interview with Colbert the other night? The Democrats are struggling. You see what's happening in Texas with the Democrats. They literally loaded up and have left the state. Now, they pulled this stunt a while back. The reason why they can't stand the idea that Trump could pick up an additional support in the U.S. House if a Texas redistricting plan is passed this week, as it's expected to do. So let's dig in a bit about what's happening in Texas, because it's something that you really need to pay attention to. A bunch of Texas Democrats, more than 50 of them, have packed their bags and fled the Lone Star State. Now, they didn't go on vacation. They're not traveling for work. This is not some noble cause. They ran off to Chicago of all places, to avoid voting on a redistricting proposal that just might shift the balance of power back towards the will of the voters. Now, why would they run away? from doing their job? It's very simple. They're trying to block a Republican-backed congressional redistricting map that could add 5 new seats that President Donald Trump carried in 2024. 5 more seats that could reflect how Texans actually voted. And the Democrats, they don't like it. They want to cling to the old lines, the old power, the old tricks. So what do? They throw a temper tantrum. They didn't like the scoreboard. So they picked up the ball and they ran home. Or in this case, they ran to Illinois to hang out with Governor J.B. Pritzker and hold a press conference. Because nothing screams representing Texas like hiding out in Chicago, right? Now, let's break this down. I mean, what's really going on here? The Texas House needs a quorum, 100 out of 150 lawmakers present, in order for them to conduct business. By taking off, these Democrats are hoping to freeze the process. That means no votes, no maps, no progress. They're sitting around twiddle the thumbs. Again, they tried this a few years ago on, what was it, like some voter integrity bill or something. I forget what it was. They ended up, it failed miserably. It's going to fail this time too. This time, there could be consequences though, because Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton, he says he's not playing around. He's already said that these lawmakers should be found and arrested for fleeing their duties. Speaker of the House, Dustin Burrows in Texas, warned if there's no quorum when they reconvene, all options are on the table. Now, I don't know what those options are. I guess he can send the sergeant at arms and Texas law enforcement to pick them up. Now, ask yourself this. What would happen if Republicans tried this in reverse? Say they didn't like a vote in D.C., so they just took off. They left to block the process. The media would explode. The Democrat National Committee would be screaming about democracy dying in darkness. But when Texas Democrats do it, suddenly they're brave heroes standing up to the oppression. Let's be clear about redistricting. The current map isn't some underhanded scheme. It's based on voting trends. Republicans already hold 25 of Texas's 38 congressional seats. With population growth, with demographic shifts, the proposed map gives them 5 more. Why? Because more and more Texans, especially in suburban and outer-lying areas, are voting red. Donald Trump carried Texas in a big way. Dallas, Houston, Austin, they're not monolithic liberal strongholds anymore. President Trump made serious gains across the board. But instead of adjusting and fighting for voters the old-fashioned way by earning support, Democrats, they want to freeze the scoreboard. Gene Wu, the Democrat caucus chair, says their decision to flee was made with absolute moral clarity. Moral clarity, he said. Well, I mean, what a stretch. Sounds more like moral cowardice to me. You don't walk away from your elected duties just because you don't like the potential outcome. Here's the kicker. According to reports, the new map would even move one Democrat, Representative Jasmine Crockett, out of her own district. I hate it for her. That's not gerrymandering, folks. That's redrawing lines based on population and voting trends. It happens after every census. That's how democracy works. We've been doing it since the founding of our country. But now that it's affecting the Democrats, now that it's affecting potential votes on their side, no. They don't want any part of this. The National Democrats are chiming in. DNC Chair Ken Martin says Trump and the GOP are rigging the system. Excuse me, the same Democrats who supported extreme gerrymandering in states like California, Illinois, New York are suddenly upset about redistricting in Texas? California is practically a one-party state. Republicans don't even have a voice in the congressional delegation. If you want to talk about rigging the system, why not start with California, folks? This isn't just a Texas issue. This is a national pattern. Democrats lose power. Suddenly the process is illegitimate. They scream voter suppression, gerrymandering, extremism, anything but we lost because voters are rejecting our policies. Voters don't agree with what we are proposing anymore. It's just that simple. And let's not ignore who's backing the Texas GOP right now, President Donald J. Trump. He's behind this push to draw fair and representative maps in Texas. Why? Because he knows, just like millions of Americans do, that the game has been rigged by the Democrats way too long, folks, and the American people have spoken.
Your comments are welcome on the Firmin Ford text line, 864-477-JOEY. That's 864-477-5639. Emails always welcome, joey@joeyhudson.com. Speaking of the Firmin Ford text line, it's never been more important to support locally run businesses owned by people who actually live here in the upstate. Let me take a minute to talk with you about our friends at Firmin Ford. If you're looking for a new vehicle, maybe a great pre-owned vehicle, one you can trust, or maybe you're looking to order that special vehicle. Either way, if you want a new one, a brand new one, or a pre-owned that you can trust, the folks at Firmin Ford, they're there to help you. Their name is on the sign because their name is on the line, because every single transaction is important to them. Jim Firmin, Matthew Firmin. They do business the right way. When you stop by, when you give them a call, or maybe when you just send them a quick email, you're always going to have access to a member of the Firmin Ford family. And by the way, they also offer great service, and you're not going to have to wait weeks and weeks to get it done. And you do not have had to purchase your vehicle at Firmin Ford. Doesn't even have to be a Ford. They service all makes and models. Visit my friends at Firmin Ford online at firminford.com, firminford.com. Joining us on our guest line, Senator Tim Scott. Welcome. It's always good to visit with you, Senator.
Well, Joey, it's good to be back on the air with you. Happy Monday to you.
You have an exciting new book being released tomorrow, and we're going to get to that. We're going to spend all of our time on that. But I want you to take just 1 minute, if you would, Senator, and talk about the first 6 months of Trump 2.0 and how you feel things are going.
Unbelievably well. I mean, there is no doubt that these first 6 months may be the most important 6 months in a presidency since, frankly, maybe even Abraham Lincoln. This is incredibly powerful. The country knows that the government can work. You just need steel will to get it done. From the success of the One Big Beautiful Bill to the closing of our southern border to 95% drop in illegal crossings of humans, which also means that people dying from fentanyl that comes across our southern border, not on his watch. So what a blessed time we're living in to see the kind of success in the first 6 months of the presidency. I'm really excited about the things that we've accomplished. And think about what helps, Joey, South Carolinians. Think about the elimination of tax on tips, the reduction in taxes on Social Security, the reduction in taxes on overtime, being able to deduct interest on your new American-made car, and saving $4.5 trillion of tax cuts for South Carolinians and the American people. This has been a strong, powerful start.
Yeah, certainly we are living in exciting times, Senator, and maybe we can catch up again soon and talk more about that. But I want to get to your book now, One Nation, Always Under God, Profiles in Christian Courage. It's out tomorrow. Let's start with the heart of your message. Why did you feel now was the right time to write One Nation, Always Under God?
Joey, sometimes it feels like we're celebrating all the wrong people in all the wrong ways. And this book really profiles Christian courage for a couple reasons. Number one, the foundation of this nation is a Judeo-Christian ethos. The principles that permeate in our soil comes from the gospel of Jesus Christ. If we are going to be the city on the hill, if we are going to be the greatest nation on the planet, we must look back to what made us great in the first place. And second, and third, ordinary people have always led this nation to extraordinary heights. It's not the richest, the most famous, the most powerful that changes the course of human history. It's people like you, Joey, and people like me. People, everyday people responding to the call of God that has changed every major institution for good in this nation. And the good news is, if you can hear my voice today, the good Lord himself can use you to do something magnificent, powerful, and meaningful right where you are. He might not leave you there, but he will start there. And that's good news for America's future.
Amen, brother. Preach it there, brother. Senator Tim Scott with us today. His latest book, One Nation, Always Under God, Profiles in Christian Courage. You can pick up a copy tomorrow, and let me encourage you to do that at your favorite bookseller. Senator, this book is filled with true stories of Americans who lived out their faith boldly, even under immense pressure. How did you choose the individuals to feature?
The more work the more work I put into trying to figure out whose lives I wanted to celebrate, I came to one simple conclusion. The vast majority of the people in this country benefit from knowing that the vast majority of the people that the good Lord used in the Bible and, frankly, in today's society are people just like them. What I really wanted to do, Joey, was to encourage everyday Americans to understand that they have purpose, that we all have mission. And if we say yes to the Lord, our lives will be internally enriched, but the lives around us will benefit from the Lord's work through us. And whether it's George Washington Carver, some young man who came out of slavery, who became known as the plant doctor, there is the celebration and a holiday in Iowa for this young man. You think about someone we've mostly never heard of, Norman Borlaug, who did so much good as a farmer that he saved 1 billion lives by praying and asking God to use his mind and his hands to deliver people from starvation. William Lloyd Garrison or Fred Fox. Fred Fox is a great story, Joey. Fred Fox was an actor.
Yeah.
He wanted to spend his time acting, but he got drafted. And during World War II, he was given a mission to actually divert the forces of our enemies by putting up a ghost army, literally pretending there was an army. He used sound systems and inflatable weapons to fool the enemy, allowing our troops to get into a position that allowed us to help win the war. It's that kind of ingenuity that God uses the talent he's already given you to do the most remarkable things.
Senator Tim Scott is our guest today. Senator, you also write about Apollo 13 astronaut Jim Lovell. You detail how faith sustained him 200,000 miles away from the Earth. What does that story teach us about trusting God in the unknown?
Well, it's similar to the story of Job in that when you find yourself outside of your wits, when you find yourself unable to figure out what to do and why things have gone wrong, you don't turn against God, you turn towards God. And what Jim did was he started praying and asking God, 200,000 miles from Earth, oxygen running out, astronauts depending on someone to do something that was going to be impossible. He sensed the direction from the Lord, and he did what he heard. He used his expertise, he used his brain, but he also used prayer and the Holy Spirit to lead him and the other astronauts from 200,000 miles all the way back safely to Earth. In one nation, always under God, you will be inspired and encouraged by what they did. And I believe you will be inspired and encouraged about what you can do in this time, small ways or big ways. God is still at work in this nation. And I believe one nation always under God will inspire you to live your best life right now.
Yeah. Senator, you and I have talked before about your own story, rising from poverty in South Carolina to the U.S. Senate. That in itself is a God story. How has your faith guided you in your public service?
Well, without my faith, honestly, Joey, I am no one, nothing, and nowhere. It was the grace of God that gave me a praying mother and a praying grandmother. And one of the stories you'll read in One Nation Always Under God is the story about my grandmother and how she believed that this nation would rise to the occasion and afford her kids an opportunity that she could only dream of. The beauty of this notion of a more perfect union plays out in my life every single day. I am blessed to serve and work for the great people of South Carolina. But the ability to do so is a miracle unto itself, because God takes unusual people with sometimes mediocre talent like me, and he gives me a vision, and he inspires me and encourages me to work hard from poverty and a single-parent household, nearly failing out of high school as a freshman. God, in his infinite wisdom, kept encouraging me. And then he sent me a mentor, a Christian mentor, a Chick-fil-A operator to teach me that all things were possible. He gave me a mother who believed that sometimes love comes at the end of a switch. And the combination between these two people and a strong, powerful grandfather who taught me you can be better or you can be bitter, but you can't be both.
Yeah.
Let's get better. It's a message of hope to every single person struggling today, that if I can do it, they can do it too.
That is for sure. Senator Tim Scott, always a pleasure to have you. One Nation, Always Under God, Profiles in Christian Courage. It's going to be a blockbuster. I'm predicting that, Senator. Good luck, and we'll be looking forward to it hitting the shelves tomorrow.
Thank you, Joey. God bless. See you soon.
That's it for today's edition of Just the Truth. Thanks for joining me in the PhD Weight Loss Studios. To lose weight for the last time, visit myphdweightloss.com. If you haven't joined my mailing list yet, visit my website, joeyhudson.com. Click on the Connect with Joey button so that you can receive our emails and the most up-to-date news. Also, join me on my YouTube channel. Be sure and like, comment, and subscribe. Just search for Joey Hudson. As always, thanks for spending a few minutes of your day with me. Do me a favor and forward this episode to a few friends. Just click on the share button and send to your contacts. We need to build an army of conservatives to win our country back, and we can do that by continuing to share the truth with our friends and family. Keep those comments coming via the Firmin Ford text line 864-477-JOEY. Email to joey@joeyhudson.com, and I love your messages on the MyPillow message line. Again, that's 864-477-JOEY, 864-477-5639. Be sure and take advantage of the MyPillow special, just $14.88 on the standard MyPillows when you use promo code Joey. Order online at mypillow.com or call 800-893-4053. We're back again tomorrow and hope you'll plan to join us. Until then, remember, God's got this. He's still in control.